Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at BTC. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Before we get into the analysis, I want to go over our fantasy crypto that we do within Crypto Rosetta. Now this is a free opportunity to win up to $150 here. And our first price is 150, 70 for second, third is 30. And over this whole period of the round, we do also have a best and worst individual weekly score, and that is 25 USD each. Now to join, all you have to do is join the Discord, verify yourself, come over here to the Fantasy League into the pick section, and then choose 10 of these 66 coins that we have lower down here. And with that, what we have to say is whether we think the ticker is going to go up, in which case we use it with an L, or alternatively, if it's going to go down, we write that with a S. Now this will be running from the 24th of the 7th to the 18th of the 9th. Great opportunity to just win some free money. Make sure you check it out. The Discord link is in the description below. We hope to see you there. Okay, let's get on with the video. So we're still looking for this potential here that within the structure, we could still be looking at this in two ways. So I'm just being mindful that we could still look to reject down. We have come up into this target box area that we were talking about in yesterday's video, looking at the potential that we could either see this move to the downside as a three-wave structure here, where we could look to potentially move down towards this 29.61 as a one-to-one of this as an A, B, and a C. Now there's a couple of ways of looking at this move to the downside. This way would be looking at this as a W, this is an X, and effectively looking for another three-wave move to the downside. Now, a common area that we'd be looking here for would be this 28,649. This move to the downside, if we do start to break down, could either look to target potentially this one-to-one, or alternatively, if we break down towards this 28,755, we could actually start to develop this as a bigger third wave, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, would be looking for a fourth, and then our target would actually be a bit lower here towards this 28,623 to this 28,431. Now, invalidation of the way I'm looking at this currently would be by moving back above this high here, this 30,423. So taking this high here would make this less likely to be playing out in this way, and would probably mean that it is more likely that what we have playing out here is this other alternative. So if we do look to move to the upside here, what we could also argue is that this move to the downside into this low is our A wave, and what we're looking for effectively is the potential that we could see something along these lines like a flat. So once again, if we do look to continue to the downside, this one-to-one is going to be a very interesting area to me. 29,225 would actually be our current one-to-one. So if we do see price continue to break to the downside here in a smaller five-wave move, looking to push into this common B wave target, which would be this 29,512 to this 29,173 area, this could still align with the idea that what we could get here is a bigger flat correction for this B wave. So if we do see this play out, effectively what we'd be looking for is a price to move back up here towards the zone of this 31299 to this 30,367. So I'm just being cautious at the moment here. You know, this move can look to break down in a bigger way if we do move past this 1618. However, if we just get a three-wave move to the downside, then effectively I would be more inclined to believe something like this is going to play out, just because this would be quite an interesting shape to have here, because of the fact that we'd come back down here, we'd take out these lows here, and then we'd also see the C wave come back up here and take out any of the liquidity sitting here in some of those late shorts. So going to be keeping an eye on this if we do see price look to push to the upside directly from here. However, what we need to be on the lookout for is the potential that this corrective move here, as either this A wave or potentially looking to push up here, could be incomplete. So we're going to go over that idea now. As long as we actually hold this 29,512, I am just being cautious of the idea here that we could still see this develop as a C wave to the upside. So this would align more with the initial way that we were looking at this structure, where what we're saying is that we're looking for this as an X wave. So if we do actually see this move push to the upside here, what we could see is that instead of this being completed as WXY, we could be looking for this C wave. So still got the same idea with this, looking for potential that price could look to push up. Target areas could be between this 31386 to this 30,388. So until we actually start taking out these lows, we need to just be on the lookout that we could still see something like this develop, where we get a five-wave move here, and then this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, what we need to see actually play out for that to happen would be we need to see price move above this 30,682. At the moment, this move is just looking corrective to me, but effectively, as long as we continue to hold these higher lows, we do always have the potential that within here we could have something like this as 1, this is 2, 1, 2, and then we see price start to break to the upside in a bigger way. But what we need to see for that confirmation would be first to actually see price starting to break back up into these highs, looking to take out this 30,382. Now that would be looking for this developing as a 5-wave move here to the upside, but effectively this would only confirm by getting a push up here towards this 30,682. Until we actually see something like this, I'm going to be looking out more for that idea that we could look to break to the downside. But like I said, that being said, as long as we continue to hold these lows, we can look for this possibility where we continue to see price push up in this way. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this idea of a 5-wave structure. If we do look to complete a 5-wave move to the upside like this, we'll have to be careful, because if we only get 3 waves down, this could actually mean that we're starting to push up in a bigger way, where this is either becomes A, B, and C, and then we could actually look to come back up into these highs, looking at that idea that we were discussing previously, that what we could see in this area is a bigger corrective move here, where what we're looking for effectively is this move as a bigger A, B, and a C to the downside. So still on the lookout for something like this. We have the other way we were discussing this, saying that what we could have is that this could be 3 waves up. We have this as our A, B, and then actually a C wave already completed to the downside. And what we could be starting to look for is a bigger 5-wave move up. Now, some target areas for this, if this does look to play out, would be this 30,993, which would align with coming back up into this area here, because we can see there is a bit of an imbalance here. So what I'm going to be on the lookout for is that if we do still continue to hold these lows here, we could see something like this develop to the upside, where we look to potentially target out this 1618 if this is going to be something like an expanding flat here, or alternatively, if we are going to get something like a running flat here, this 1-to-1 level is going to be an interesting zone. Other areas that we could look to target would be this 1236 and this 1382, which are sitting in these respective areas over here. So if we do see this low hold and we start to actually see some impulsive structure to the upside, this could align with this idea of forming this bigger B wave in this way, where this would then become A, we'd get B, and then we'd still look to actually flush out those positions lower down here before looking for that continuation up. So this is just looking for this move actually becoming a bigger structure to the upside here before looking for that push to the downside. So that is going to be our medium time frame thing that we're looking for here. If we continue to hold this high though, we need to just be on the lookout that we could see something more bearish playing out here, where what we could see is that this whole move could be 1, 2, and then we could be setting up for this bigger 3rd wave to the downside. Now, confirmation would only come by crossing this 27,059. And what we'd want to see here is we have already rejected out of this target box area. It is possible that this could be something like A, B, and C. And we still see a move down here first, one more move up, and then still look to reject to the downside. Now, if we do see something like that, the first area I'm going to be keeping an eye on is this 29,256. So this would align with the idea that, you know, if we do look to reject the downside here, this could still just be ABC within that other pattern, where this is an A, this is a B, and then we see 5-wave structure up. If, however, this starts to get, you know, quite excited and we get a lot of volume to the downside here and price looks to extend out and we look to push down towards this 1618, then it would be more likely that within this structure here, this whole move here is effectively an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, particularly if we only hit these targets that we have here, which would be this 28,634 to this 28,444. If, however, this does move down deeper and we start to extend out even more than we have here, shown here, because we don't have, you know, if this forms something like this, 1, 2, 1, 2, then effectively we have enough waves that could look to push us down towards this lower level, where we could look to possibly come back down into this zone of this 26,794 to this 26,354 as a possible target. Now, these would all be looking at that possibility that, you know, if we are looking at this as a 5-wave move down, then it makes more sense that what we are looking for is the potential for this as a Y wave to the downside. 1-to-1 is here at this 26,510. If we do get this where this actually comes back up here though, we need to be on the lookout for something like this as a bigger 5-wave structure, which could look to push us all the way down here towards this 25,067 to this 23,373 as a possible target for this as a C wave to the downside. So it is possible this could be a Y wave, in which case what I'm still looking out for is we could see something along these lines where we see a bigger flat correction here, or in fact this whole move is a flat and we look to push down towards this 1-to-1. Our minimum requirement would be this 28,419, so we'd have to keep an eye on that level as well here. But currently, you know, if we start to see that bigger sell-off to the downside, this would imply that we're going to see some of these lower levels come into play here. Now, it is also possible that if we are looking at the more bullish case here, and not at the fact that this is a bigger WX and a Y, what we could still argue is that within this structure, a move down in this way could still technically be a wave 2, where this becomes A, B, and then we see a bigger C wave. Now, the C wave would be very extended if this is the case, and it's not that common to see it, but it is technically still possible. So if we saw a bigger sell-off to the downside like this, what we'd then need to be looking for is price to come back and take this high again for confirmation that you know, this is actually just a corrective structure and we're going to see that continuation up. If we see something like a 5-wave move down, 3 waves back to the upside, this would imply that we're going to see that continuation to the downside one more time here in either a C wave or a 3rd wave, in which case, you know, if it's a 3rd wave, that could actually mean that we start to break down in a bigger way. So these are going to be the key areas that I'm watching at the moment. As long as we stay below this 30,417, we do have potential for continuation to the downside, either in a C wave towards this 29,256, or alternatively in a 3rd wave if we start to break down much deeper here towards this 28,750. So gonna just have to watch those levels. But like I said as well, you know, until we actually take that low, we still have the potential that this could develop into something to the upside, where we're forming a series of 1s and 2s here, and then we're looking for this possible break to the upside here. 30,682 would be that confirmation. Having a look at the daily CPR, what we can see is that we have an inside value here, and what this means is that this daily CPR is within the range of this previous CPR. Now, this typically indicates some form of a breakout. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be to the upside here. It could actually look to potentially break to the downside, but this is implying that we're going to see some volatility looking to play out today. So if we do continue to hold above this S1 line here, then we do have that possibility that we could see even price come down here towards 29,730 and look to find support. If we start to lose this level though, it becomes more likely that price is actually going to look to take some of these lower zones here. This 29,557, we have this 29,393 and this 29,227 as possible targets. If however we look to reclaim this central line, which is sitting here towards this 29,897, what we could see is price looking to push to the upside. Now, this typically happens when we are going to start to see price trend in a certain direction. It doesn't always mean that it has to be up or down. We need to just keep an eye on it and see what price actually confirms. If we continue to reject off of this, probability becomes to the downside. If we can reclaim this level, then we could be potentially looking for upside towards this 30,065. We have this 30,229 and this 30,402, and this level up here, this 30,565 as possible upside targets for today, where we could see price get gravitated to. Now, if we do see something along these lines, this would align with the idea here that this could be A, B, and C, or alternatively could be looking to break to the upside for that bigger 3rd wave, where possibly this is 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, something like this, and then we'd be looking for how these CPRs start to form tomorrow. Looking at the weekly CPRs, we still have this potential resistance area above us here between this 30,859 and this 30,441. So if we do see price just move to the upside here in 3 waves, I would still be cautious of that idea that, you know, we could still be looking for that possibility that we could still look to reject and look to break to the downside afterwards if we do move up into this typical zone, because these are currently aligning quite nicely with that area of that 0.5 and that 0.382. So going to be keeping an eye on this level. If we do see price look to push up into the zone, we could look to potentially reject off this area once again. Alternatively, if we do start to look to break to the upside, now these are only valid until reset on Monday morning. So if we do look to push up before then, some of these targets could be potential areas that we look to see price pivot off of. Now, if we come over here onto the monthly again, we've been discussing this for a while. We are currently still holding this top line here at this 29,690. If we do come back down here, we could still potentially look to find support on this and then see price move back to the upside. If, however, we start to lose this, I will be looking lower down here towards these lower lines to see if we find support either here towards this 28,900 or this 28,108 would be potential support zones below us that these lines can offer us during the period of this month. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. If we start to lose these, then this lower line here aligns with that idea that we could start to see that bigger 5-wave structure developing to the downside. So going to be keeping an eye on this level as well if we start to lose these central lines that we have here. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.